Matthew Barnaby had an insane weekend, one for the ages. Edmonton playing Florida. How do we make money? These are the two topics we're going to discuss today. I'm Lawrence Presman. You're watching the Blue Line Hockey Betting Podcast. This is our last show of the season. Matthew Barnaby. So you had a bender, huh? Was alcohol involved? Drugs? Females? An iron cross? Nipple clamps? Butt plugs? What was involved in this bender?
Definitely two. A lot of alcohol, a great team, 1.3 million raised. Probably an iron cross was there. Maybe a goat was sacrificed. It was insane, man. Listen, I do a lot of these events over the years, and this team from Greenfoot Energy in Moncton, New Brunswick is a whole new level, So woke up a little late, got in late. Today's a recovery day, and then I'm off to Tampa to pick my daughter up and drive 21 hours with her from Tampa to Buffalo tomorrow. So, yeah, it was a great time. Like I said, a lot of money raised, but wow, what a bender.
Yeah, Carmine Bianco, shout out to the Greenfield people in Moncton, New Brunswick for taking care of Matthew Barnaby. Listen, Carm can drink. You can drink. I have not been drunk since I was 16 years old.
Wow,
Can you
great.
believe? I didn't like it then, and I don't like it now. But Carm makes famous limoncello, Matthew. He should send you some when he does it this summer.
I will.
I was married to an Italian for 15 years. I know the limoncello and was in Italy. It's fantastic. So I got to try it.
Yeah. Carm
is I make it every year. You can't buy the alcohol that you need to make it in Canada, unfortunately, because grain alcohol is banned in Canada. So I drive across the border to Niagara Falls, New York, and I got a guy there that pours it. I won't actually mention the name of the place, but he pours the grain alcohol into 2-liter bottles of water. He empties it out, and then when I drive back from Seneca Casino, it's just in the back seat, and they would never think that there's grain alcohol inside those bottles. But probably one of my trolls right now is reporting it to Canada Customs right now as we speak.
I just did, yes. This segment sponsored by Canadian Customs. So what is your drink of choice, Matthew?
Without a doubt, vodka soda, buddy. NFL, though. NFL, no fucking line.
Okay. There we go. Chris Allen, are we allowed to swear on this show? That's a yes. Okay. Edmonton minus 130 against Florida to win it all. The cup final is set. It's the same as last year. And, I have no issue watching this cup final as a Leaf fan. Obviously, I wanted them in, but man, this is going to be a phenomenal series, Matthew. And I'm going to start with you. What I love most about the series is it's two different styles of play coming against each other. You've got a north-south style in the Florida Panthers, a grinding, forechecking, back-checking, dump and chase kind of a style, a beat 'em up, kill 'em, wreck 'em, ruin 'em kind of a style against, well, the really pretty Edmonton Oilers, a ton of speed, east-west hockey, cycling, triangle offense, 5-unit playing out, 5 people playing in a unit out there. It's new versus old. It's going to be about who dictates tempo, who dictates pace. Can Florida hold Edmonton's speed in check? Can Edmonton not get destroyed by Florida's bruising mentality? Break this series down, Matthew Barnaby. Tell us who's going to win, and then I'm going to ask the same question to Carmine.
Yeah, I think you said all the things in there, and I'll add Edmonton is a pretty team, and when Connor McDavid and Draisaitl decide to turn it up a notch, they're tough to stop. I mean, they get going. They run a power play different than any power play I've ever seen in my life. Usually power plays are more stagnant, move the puck around. Literally, it's give it to 97, let him do whatever he wants, and he'll find someone open because so many guys collapse on him, creating open seams for other guys. So they have to stay out of the box, Florida, if they're going to win this series, because this power play really can dictate games. I've been going back and forth. I've been Florida till probably the last day, and I'm like, is it Edmonton's time? Is this time that the next great one gets his first Stanley Cup? I think it's going to be a tight series. I think this series has the potential to go 7 games. I just can't go against the Florida Panthers when I look at them as a whole. They're physical. They're going to drag Edmonton into the mud and into the trenches where they love. That's going to be physical. The one thing I have to say about the Edmonton Oilers is their DNA. Toronto talked about changing their DNA this summer. Edmonton has changed their DNA in this playoffs. They've been a lot more physical. Having said that, the most physical guy in Zach Hyman is out, will not play. That's a big blow. You get Aaron, you get Ekholm back in that lineup. That certainly improves their chances when you get a number 1D. And it's pretty remarkable to be in the Stanley Cup final without your number 1D for the whole playoffs. So I think it's going to be a tight series. I don't think it's going to be as free willing for Connor McDavid. This is a big defense. They put back pressure very, very well on opposing teams. And Bobrovsky is better than Stuart Skinner. So when I look at all those, as much as I want to take Edmonton because it could be their time and they have the 2 best players arguably left in the playoffs, I look at goaltending, I look at defensive structure, and I look at the physical prowess of the Florida Panthers. I'm going Florida in 7, but I think it's going to be an unbelievable series.
There you go, Matthew Barnaby, Florida in 7. And Carm, I love Matthew talking about the power plays. Matthew was a power play expert, Carmine. He was able to sit on the bench and watch many work. So 16 years of sitting front line watching power plays.
You might want to check the 98 playoff stats there, buddy.
Yes.
Hey,
yes.
Matthew, do you know how many front seat rows, whatever I had to a power play?
It's
Zero.
So funny for the most part. You're right, but we had a few injuries, and it's so funny. I think I have a cutout because I don't think my kids would have believed it if it was not after like 2.5 rounds in the 98 playoffs. Literally the top 5 scorers in the playoffs left were Yzerman, Fedorov, Peter Bondra, Matthew Barnaby. It was it was the weirdest thing to see for myself, not only everyone else, but yeah, for the most part, I was very good at watching power plays, and I played with some of the best that ever played. So it's still, I'll take the best seat in the house and be paid for it.
Listen, Lawrence was so bad at he didn't even he didn't even sit on the bench during power plays. They put him in the dressing room in case he accidentally got onto the ice.
Dude, you want to know in all seriousness how bad I am in hockey? I play beer league E. So the best players play A, then B, then C, then D. I'm in E. And why do you play? Not only I need the sweat. Not only am I in E hockey, I don't even make my power play unit in E hockey.
I don't think there's power plays in E unit hockey.
No, but why do I play, Matthew? Dude, honestly, it's my favorite thing in the world. I love the dressing room. I love the banter. I love the warrior mentality, even in E hockey, dude. I mean, there are fights all the time. There's, I am the mouthiest guy. Dude, well, listen.
We know that.
So I was all about the Matthew Barnabys, the Poplinskis, the Dale Hunters, Marchand. These are my favorite players of all time. Like, that's how I would have played hockey. I'm a rat. People come in to check me. I move my hand down the stick. Matthew, I'm the guy. Yeah. I'm that guy. That guy, Matthew. And I'm 5'7" and Jewish, bro. I got to come up with some way of causing disruption. Carmine, Matthew likes Florida in 7. That would be, I think, plus 110 winner. I think Edmonton is minus 120, 130 on the series. I'm curious where you're going here, and then I'll give you my take.
I would love to see it go 7 because I'll be in Vegas for Game 7, like I was last year. So that would be great. That's on Friday, June 20th. It's
not in Vegas.
No, but I'll be in Vegas to watch it.
Well, you can't watch it at home.
Watching at Circa Sports
on
a huge TV.
Okay.
Do you know how hard it is to find a bar in Toronto that plays audio if it's not the Leafs in the playoffs? They just want to listen to music, and it's a sports bar. It's insane. It's absolutely insane. I blame the pandemic for killing all of the sports bars. But anyways, you guys talked about the power play. I want to talk about 5-on-5, and we're going to look at some numbers this year and last year. You look at Edmonton's commitment to defense, and as Matt said, changing their DNA. You know, you look at last year, that 16-game win streak. You look at a lot of those scores, and they were playing some great defense, which they have to do in front of a goalie. Like if you don't think not Jeff Skinner, if you don't think that Stuart Skinner is the goalie or Pickard is the goalie, you look at them. Last 8 games for the Oilers in this year's playoffs, they've only allowed 7 goals, 5-on-5. Last year, just in the Stanley Cup Finals, Florida scored 18 goals. 14 of them were 5-on-5. 2 of them were empty nets. They pretty much shut Florida down power play wise in that one. The difference, and that's going to be the difference this year. They're playing better 5-on-5 at home. 3 games in the Stanley Cup Finals last year for Edmonton. They allowed 6 goals in those 3 games. All of them were 5-on-5 goals. I'm showing you the difference between last year's Edmonton team that, as you guys say, is a pretty team and love to score goals. There's a better commitment to defense from this team now. They shut down the Dallas Stars. They shut down Vegas. Early on, it was the LA Kings, and then they shut down the Kings. We look at goalie matchups, and I get it. Bobrovsky is, if you're starting a team from goalie out, you're picking Bobrovsky before you're picking Skinner. But Vegas had Aiden Hill. Dallas had Jake Ottinger. It's the same thing now. It is the team in front of Stuart Skinner that this year is making the difference. So as Matt talked about, of Stars getting their first wins, and we've seen this stat posted quite a bit. It's just something it's barroom chatter. But Gretzky, 1983, his first cup, loses to the New York Islanders, wins the next year against the New York Islanders. Sidney Crosby, 2008, loses to the Detroit Red Wings. The following year, he beats the Detroit Red Wings in the finals. And now you have Connor McDavid, loses to Florida last year. Does he do it this year? I think he does. I think the DNA of this team is under Knobloch is they can play better defense, Lawrence, and that's going to be the difference in the series and having home ice. I think Game 7 at home, if it happens, is going to mean a lot more. That last change, line matching, I think that has to come into it. But I think the Oilers get this one, and I wouldn't be surprised. And I'm going to piss off a lot of Florida Panther fans if this does not go 7 games and the Oilers win it. This is a different Oilers team this year, and maybe the cup is coming back north.
Carmine Bianco joining us. Guys, if you like what you're hearing, please take a second and hit that like button. This is the last Blue Line Hockey Betting podcast of the season. As of now, the plan is to come back next year. We are still waiting on word. Matthew is a busy man and well sought after. So, Matthew, my take on this is simple. I'm in agreement with Carm here. I think Edmonton gets it done. I think the series price is good, -130. And I think Edmonton gets it done in 6. So at -1.5, Edmonton Oilers are +155. I feel like Florida now has entered 3 seasons of playing all the way through to June. I'm going to ask you a question, Matthew, before I break this down. Are they tired? Like, do teams, if you play 3 Stanley Cup finals in a row, are you more tired than another team would be if they don't? I mean, you have all summer to rest. Does it, this was 3 years ago, 2 years ago, last year. Does any of it come into play? How can Florida be tired?
I don't buy into that.
Right.
I just don't buy into that. I think the fearful thing is just the injuries as you go through, but both those teams are dealing with injuries along the way. But no, I don't buy into fatigue at this point of the year. They got 5 days off or whatever it was between games, and these guys are ready to roll. I mean, the energy that you get from going to a Stanley Cup final, or just the deeper you go in the playoffs, you have a new sense of energy. These guys know it's every day You're not practicing in
Right.
between games. You're barely on the ice. It's just about playing the games. That's going to be the way it is for the next 2 weeks. So both those teams will be fresh. Everyone's dealing with injuries. That's both sides. And listen, the better team is going to find a way to win this. You're going to need a goalie to steal a game here and there. You're not going to play great for all 7 games if it goes 7. You're going to have periods where you struggle and have to weather storms. And I like a lot of what you guys said with the Edmonton Oilers. And I couldn't disagree with anything that you said, especially their DNA and the way that Knobloch has this team playing defensively. And yes, they've knocked off Ottinger and Aiden Hill and some really, really good teams. And this could be the time that Connor McDavid gets over the hump and they win. But as for fatigue, these guys are going to be ready to go this first period, like we've seen every first game, especially in the Western Conference. Man, it is going to be controlled chaos for that first period. Bodies will be flying everywhere. Mistakes will be made early. What goalie can make that big save, especially early in that first period, to kind of set up game 1?
Yeah. Well, I like Edmonton in this series. Matthew likes Florida in 7, and Carm likes Edmonton. Carm, you got a question for Matt?
Yeah, Matt, from a betting perspective, you look at this one, and we mentioned the price. You look at DK, and the Oilers are minus 120 to win the series. But Connor McDavid is plus 110 to win the Conn Smythe. Are you better not? Are you not better just taking Connor McDavid to win the Conn Smythe? Because if the Oilers win the cup, it is McDavid who is winning the Conn Smythe. There's not another player on that team who's winning. So you might as well get the best price.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. And listen, even if they lose, there's a chance he gets it again. He might be the only one to go back to back and lose. So that's just a way better bet if you're looking at the numbers point of view on where to bet it. Yeah, Connor McDavid wins it. If the Oilers win it, he's winning the Conn Smythe. And if they lose and he has a big series again, he's probably the guy. And I think for Florida, you probably have to look at Sam Bennett right now.
He's plus 3,300.
Yeah, but I think he has to be the favorite for me, at least.
How is it not Bobo?
I don't know. Like, I'm betting Connor and I'm betting him. So
really,
just
wow.
Yeah, like I think he's the guy if they do win. Bobrovsky hasn't been great. He's been great at times. I think you can look at Seth Jones on the back end, who's been really, really good. Barkov hasn't. He's had moments. He's been really, really
plus
good.
500.
But he's had moments. So I think there is better value on those plays when you look at who could win it. But Connor McDavid has to be the favorite, whether they win or lose right now.
In the dressing room of both teams, Matthew, Corey Perry's got to be the MVP.
He's the most appreciated player, I can tell you that. I guarantee he's going to get a 2-year extension. I guarantee 29 and 97 are going to management right after this is done and say, sign this guy to 2 more years. Yeah, I mean, he's been incredible for them. For them.
I don't think he's had sex with either of their mothers yet.
I'm not going there.
Hey, what's wrong with that, dude?
He has not. That wasn't even what it was. So
I don't know, but who cares?
Another goat on this. He's wearing a hat.
Yeah. Hey, I wish it was. I wish it was what happened.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I don't know what happened. Matthew does. Let's move on. I don't see Sam Bennett winning the Conn Smythe in any way or manner. And I love your question, Carm. I think Connor McDavid wins the Conn if Edmonton wins, and I think Sergei wins it if Florida wins, and Bobrovsky's plus 250. I just can't see anybody else winning it, really, to be honest with you. Let's talk about the scoring. Right now we got a 6-up for game 1, Matt. And look, obviously, if it ends up 6-3, we'll have a 6.5 for game 2. But I do feel like we're going to get predominantly 6s across the board. I'll go to you, Matt, and then you, Carm. Are we looking at a series of overs or unders, Matthew?
I think we're going to see a series of unders. And I just think further to what Carm said, they're going to protect more. I think they just don't want to trade chance. That's the old Edmonton Oilers. That's the Toronto Maple Leafs trade chances. I think this is a tighter series than most people think in just goal scoring. I think I think whistles will be put away for the most part. I don't think we'll see as many power plays. Maybe as we go further into the series, we could see a little high scoring games as goalies are pulled. But I think it's going to be a low scoring, not a low scoring series, but I agree. I think
3-2.
sixes across the boards.
Right.
3-2, 4-2.
Right. Carmine?
Yeah, six. If they're hanging sixes, I'm likely going to go under as well too. Last year's playoffs, last year's cup final. If you look at it, taking each game at a 6, hypothetical 6, the over under would have been 3-3 and 3-3-1. But you look at Florida in the last 4 games, when the Oilers started to play much better after going down 3-0 in that series. Florida scored a total of 7 goals at all strengths across 4 games. So the Oilers played much better defensively, including losing that final game 2-1. They need a better start this time around, and maybe having home ice could be the difference here.
Yeah, and Matthew, we saw no overtimes in the last round. We've actually seen no overtimes in a while now. Do you think the puck line will be in play in this series, or you think these are going to be very, very tight games with a couple of maybe overtime plus 350s along the way?
Yeah, I'm not touching the puck line in this series. No. I think we're going to see 1 or 2 overtimes in this series. I really do. I think it's going to be that close to the series. And listen, I'm picking Florida. You guys are picking Edmonton. That means, we believe, we're not in unison in just picking one team across the board. So I think we both think it's going to be a pretty tight series. I do think we see overtime, like I said, and puck line, I just don't think is going to be there. Could there be an empty net goal? Yes, but I think it's going to be very tight.
Carmine?
I was just looking it up. The prop on any game to reach double overtime, that's going to be tough as well too, is plus 340. They don't give you a no on that, unfortunately. But if you like the Oilers to win game 1 and win the series, it is plus 185. So there's one for you as well too. If you think they're going to get off to a good start, that might be the game series double that you want to take.
Yeah, I love that bet, Carm. Nice way to unearth that. Carmine,
that building game 1 is going to be probably the loudest building we've ever heard in our life.
Well, every single person in Edmonton will be there. The entire population of 25 people.
It's unbelievable.
Yes. Shout out to the Edmonton population. Have fun, you guys. I got a bunch of friends from Edmonton. They actually are flying in to see game 1. Much easier to get tickets there than here, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Carmine, you're doing Puck Time with Andrew McGinnis. You've got a Stanley Cup preview show coming up. When is it? What is it? Fill us in, and then I'll say goodbye to you.
Yeah, so Wednesday we'll do game 1. The way the games are set up right now, they're really spacing them apart, which is a good thing as well too. Wednesday game 1, Friday is game 2, and then game 3 goes on Monday. So we'll have game previews during the week on game days, Andrew and I. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a great cup. I would love to see it go 7 games. I'd like to see the Oilers win and the cup come north of the border, but I wouldn't mind being in Vegas, even though the cup final is in Edmonton. But I wouldn't mind being at a sports book watching that with a ton of fans. So I'll go with that, Prez.
Well, Carm, you and I are going to be in Vegas together, right? I'm there the 14th to the 21st.
Yeah.
Shout out Circa, Derek Stevens.
Yes, I'm going to see Derek. Hopefully he's coming by the cabana. I have a cabana book for Sunday morning, the 22nd, Prez, but you won't be there.
I have a cabana booked for Sunday morning, the 22nd too, Carm. It's just in my backyard. Love you, brother. Thanks for doing this. Right. Carmine Bianco.
Take care, guys.
Matthew, this is our last show of the season. I'm going to tell you, I hope that we have a chance to do this next year. No matter what happens, you and I will find our way on air next year together. Hopefully, we'll do the show every day. If not, you'll come on one of my other shows on a semi-regular basis. I got a lot of love for you, my friend. It was a lot of fun doing this, and I appreciate the work you've put in, getting us guests, and honestly, just showing up on time, because every day I was concerned. I will tell. It's okay. It's okay.
Couple notches in the belt there, a lot of travel, but hey, it's been a pleasure, buddy. I'm sure we'll be able to figure out a way to do this next year. A couple things I'm dealing with, trying to figure out next year and in the media world. So trying to figure all that out. And, but I'm sure there's a way. If there's a will, there's a way, buddy.
Thank you, my friend. Matthew Barnaby, everyone. You can follow him at Matt Barnaby 3636. He'll be around all summer posting. Really good Twitter follow. Thanks, Matthew.
Cheers,
Shout out to every guest that came on the show. To Dan Alexander and Chris Allen, our producers, Carmine, Andy, and Andrew McGinnis, on behalf of Matthew and I. Have yourselves an incredible summer, and don't bet like an idiot. Lots of love, everybody. Go Oilers.